Hey there, Amanda Shindell, founder of the Buena Vida. I'm back again today chatting with you about what you can expect from a mushroom retreat. Oh my goodness, what can you possibly expect? Well, let's get into it. I'm, of course, only going to be speaking from the perspective of our retreats, both in Mexico and Joshua Tree, California. We host 5-day and 7-day retreats. Both are, let's say the first word, intense. Intense in many ways, intense in every way that you can imagine. Our 5-day retreats are 5-day containers. We host 2 macro dose or therapeutic dose ceremonies with the mushrooms. Our 7-day retreats are deep dive retreats. We have 3 high dose psilocybin mushroom ceremonies. See if you can say that a few times fast. So what can you expect from a retreat? The long story short of why I went into holding space with the mushrooms is that I received my own healing from a retreat setting. What I found in addition to the beautiful plant medicine was also so many things I didn't know that I needed at the time, which were community, vulnerability, being seen and witnessed in my pain, in my growth, in my development, and being in a place of non-judgment where I was away from my life, away from my work, away from my family, and could show up at that time in a very depressed, dark, judgmental, heavy place, and know that I was going to have some time to actually begin to crack and work through some of those deep pains. So as opposed to maybe a one-on-one setting where it's just at your home and then the next day you're just back into your life, the biggest gift that a retreat will offer you is time away to process all of that stuff in life that just keeps piling and piling and piling, the stress, the unprocessed emotions, the unprocessed grief, the unprocessed resentments, all of us that just as life goes on, we don't have the time or space to always process. The retreat setting gives you that space and gives you that time. In addition, of course, the mushroom medicine is going to really assist you. Those of you that like control, anybody out there? Those of you that don't really like letting go, this is where the mushroom medicine really comes in to help you and assist you in this process. This is why you may have heard the phrase that sometimes, not always, but sometimes a journey with psychedelics can be like 10 years of therapy in one night. Now, the reason for that is that it doesn't work only on the cognitive mind, which is a rough estimate about only 5% of what's really going on in our psyche. These medicines get to the subconscious, they get to our storage system, they get to our buried trauma, they get to our old habits. And so that may take a very long time when you're just talking and telling stories cognitively with your therapist, which don't knock it. I have a therapist as well. There's a lot of beauty in really being heard, but you don't necessarily have the ability to access these deeper states and to process what the body and what the mind needs to process when you're only accessing the intellect. So during a retreat, you have a lot of space and a lot of tools surrounding you, which I'll get into in just a moment here, to be able to not only kick up the dust of your internal world and your psyche, but also to work through that with facilitators, with leaders, with your fellow guests. Another thing you can expect on a retreat with the Buena Vida is a lot of nurturing care. This is what we are known for. We have a team of incredible women and men that really put our intention into holding you in the way of the divine feminine throughout the entire week. What that means is many of us out there, because we had human beings as parents, we may not have received the love, the care, the understanding, the forgiveness, the sweetness that we desired. And even if we had incredible, amazing, loving human beings as parents, there is a part of us that when we are in these states of rockiness or states of transition, We don't need another person in our life that's like, well, you need to do this and you need to fix this and change this, and why don't you just stop doing that, and why don't you just start doing this, and you need to do this more. We have enough of that, especially if you're on social media, right? There's enough advice. There's enough people trying to like penetrate you with their ideas. And the way of the divine feminine is like, come into the space, come into this space of warmth and of patience. Come into the space of understanding and sweetness, and let us listen to one another. Let us absorb one another. And an expectation of being taken care of is a very healthy expectation to have at our retreats. From the beautiful, luxurious spaces that we choose to hold the retreats, to your bed and your pillows, and the incredible food that will be provided for you all day, every day. We want to comfort and nourish every part of your body and spirit, because as you go into the mushroom space, there may be some challenges ahead. There may be some things to face. There may be some memories that resurface that are big. And so my dream and the way that we hold this space for the retreat is that everything else is calm and beautiful and held and warm for you. So that when you go to those deeper emotional, psychological spaces, you know that at the end of the night, you have your warm bed, you have people around you that have all agreed to hold a place of safety, of brotherly and sisterly love, of non-judgment, keeping, hot topics away for the week. We're not in a place of division and hot button topics. So the setting itself, not just in the mushroom ceremony, but the setting of the entire week is meant to be in that place of holding, nurturing, and calm. Something else you can expect from a retreat, like I might have mentioned earlier, is just to be taken care of and nourished with unbelievable, amazing food. So we take great care to have a menu that is provided for everyone, whether you're a carnivore or you're a vegan or you eat a little bit of everything. Our menus are meant to be whole foods, delicious foods, very low additional sugar, very low use of anything prepackaged. It's just going to be food that everyone notices after a few days. When you eat this way, the mind starts to calm, the body starts to come alive. And so in addition to the mushroom medicine that's healing and processing many things in your body, you will also be nourishing yourself with beautiful food, juices, desserts, snacks, everything provided for you. And my joke is always that I would show up to a retreat for a week just for someone making my food and not having to do the dishes. I just think it's like an amazing aspect of going to a retreat like this, is like, oh my goodness, someone is taking care of me for the entire time. I don't have to clean anything. I don't have to prep anything, make any decisions. It's such a beautiful gift to give yourself. Let's see what else. At the Buena Vida, we put a lot of emphasis on the practices that are taking place in the entire week, in the entire container outside of the mushroom ceremonies. These can look like anything from gentle yoga, where you're just gently reconnecting back into the body, grounding exercises after we've explored our consciousness, that we need to find a way to ground ourselves back into this 3D reality. We have quite a few somatic or body-based practices, so that when the mushroom journey kind of speaks to us in ways that are not necessarily understood by the intellect, we have ways of using different parts of the brain, using art, using journaling, using movement to begin to integrate the experience, not necessarily just through a story, not necessarily just through the words of what happened during your journey, but to begin to get it into the body. Because as we want to change, we have to also change our physiology. We have to also change the way we move in the world, the way that we accept things into the world through our breath, through our movement, through our body. And if this doesn't make any sense, that's perfectly fine, because We also have designed this retreat as an expectation for those of you that have never taken psychedelics. You would never do anything woo-woo and weird. You would never go to something like this. Trust me when I say, for some reason, those are most of the people that come to the retreat. They're like, I just felt kind of safe with you guys, and I felt like you had a good reputation, but I'm really, I'm highly intellectual, I'm introverted, I've been rewarded for my mind, and, being in my mind is how I've gotten through this world. That's 95% of the people that come to a retreat. So you will feel perfectly comfortable and at home. And in addition, we will explain to you all of the actual scientific reasons why we are doing these practices. We're not just going to throw, a strange, weird movement practice at you and not explain what it is doing, how it is helping your anxiety, how it is going to help you move from a place of being only in the mind to that elusive trait of what does it mean to be in your own body? And how do we create safety in our own body when many of us, that's the reason we don't want to be here. That's the reason we want to escape into the future, into the past, and into the mindscape, is because there isn't safety in the body. And so safety, moving into that piece, is vitally important in every single aspect. From the moment you contact us, from the moment we have our intake interview, your background check, your medical check, really looking at where you are mentally and physically, from that first moment that you interact with us, all the way until weeks and weeks after the retreat, where we're helping you integrate. We have a 2-week program that we're taking you through so that this isn't just a magical week in your life that was a great memory, but turns into something that you can say in 6 months, in a year, wow, that was a turning point in my life. That was a turning point in my career. That was a turning point in my marriage. And I hear this all the time. I hear this all the time from people that maybe in the first few weeks, maybe the first month, they weren't so sure. But over time, with consistent connection back to our community, with integrating some sort of a practice into your life and taking the lessons and the insight that you gained from the mushroom ceremonies and weaving that with the right support into your life, things do change. So once again, my name is Amanda. I am so happy to answer any and all of your questions. Those are just some pieces that you can expect from a retreat. We really hope to see you in gorgeous Mexico or the wonderful high desert, peaceful, beautiful, starry skies of Joshua Tree, California. Please reach out and ask us any and all questions that come up with this. We're happy to be there for you.